Oh, shite. The reason, the rhyme. 5 things that mean something to me and the reason why. This time, that voice, part 3. Now, I know what you're thinking. 2 of clubs. No, that's for a different video. Why a part 3? There shouldn't have even been a part 2. Don't tell me what to do. You're not my real mum. I'm painting my room black.
That is so unfair! I hate you!
We'll start off with this one with Terry Hall of the Specials and Funboy 3 fame. You probably know them from, but he's been in loads of other things as well. Terry's voice seems to be, I don't know if it's the voice of my generation, but for someone who grew up in the 70s and 80s, his voice was omnipresent. It was the voice of the late 70s, early 80s, along with Suggs from Madness, maybe Adamant, Roland and Kurt from Tears for Fears. It predates like some Morrissey. So it's that turn of the decade from 70s to 80s. His Terry Hall's was the voice that seems to fit it perfectly. And it does fit it perfectly as well, because there was, the times where there's a lot of turmoil around at the time. They were not a great, they're not a great time to live through. They were a great time to live through. The unfortunate problem was there was loads of things going on. There was lots of unemployment. There was riots all over the place. And yet, all the way through that, this beautiful, sweet voice cut through it all. And there's something I love about Terry Hall's voice as well. There's something about it when he's singing. I don't want to say it's like a sneer, but it's a little bit like a sneer. It's as though he's letting you in on a secret that only you two know about. And all these idiots who are listening as well, they haven't got a clue. It's just me and you. We know these things. They don't. And I always got the same idea when I seen him getting interviewed. Where, why am I wasting my time doing this? There was an in-joke that he knew about, and then the person interviewing didn't know, which I loved. Very similar to Robert Smith from The Cure. They must be sick and tired of interviewers. Right? The normal interview question. You brought a song out called "Love is Lovely, I Love to Love, and Love is Great. Isn't love great? What's it all about?" Why are you asking these stupid questions? It's about hatred. It's about drowning in Bisto. I don't know what you think it's about. They must get sick of it. So at some point, you get that little bit of a, I am tired of you and I'm tired of everything, but I'm having a laugh nonetheless. And it comes across in Terry Hall's voice. I like that. There's a hint of a sneer in there. I like it. And then, of course, the stuff that they were singing about, there's lots of culturally important things for someone at least of my age anyway. Thatcherism, like I say, the riots, high unemployment. They were a two-tone band in name and nature. They were on the two-tone label, and there was black and white members of the band in the Specials, which was very important at that particular moment in time. Coventry's a very diverse city. The rest of the country at times wasn't so diverse. So to have this high-profile band being made up of different coloured characters singing about what they saw on a day-to-day basis was really important. And it still stands up to this day, I think. Looking back on it, it was very well diarised, if I can call it that. And his voice was integral to that. And whenever I hear his voice, it's I'm back there. I'm back in the late 70s, early 80s. A day spent without Terry Hall is a day wasted. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that voice, Terry Hall, man. Terry Hall. Next, Alison Moyet from Yazoo and Alison Moyet fame. Now, U2 were a good band. Obviously, having Vince Clarke as your songwriter always helps. The thing that stood out about them for me was Alison Moyet's voice. Now, thinking back to what people were like back then, the singers, the female singers especially, there weren't too many of them that were able to bang out a tune the way she did, and still continues to do so. The power in her voice is absolutely incredible. I remember reading somewhere as well, when Vince Clarke disbanded Yazoo and then formed Erasure, the reason why he hired Andy Bell as a singer was because he sounded similar to Alison Moyet, and I read about it and I thought, what are you talking about? And then listened to both voices, one after the other, and he does. There's a similarity between those two voices. I don't know what it is, I can't even put my finger on it, but there's a real sound I like between them, which I think is fantastic. And then she did a solo stuff. I remember the album Alf, we had that in the house, I like that. And Love Resurrection is an absolute banger of a tune, end of story, it absolutely is. But I didn't think much about it until not too long ago, and Spotify Discover Weekly decided to suggest one of their songs, and it's a song called The Rarest Birds from the album Other, and I wasn't expecting anything from it at all, just alright, here we go. And it started off and I thought, this sounds really interesting, and then her voice kicked in. Now, some singers really grow into their voice, and it matures. Others don't. Others sound exactly the way they did when he first started off. But with Alison, it's a bit like Mark Lanegan from Screaming Trees. It seems to be, I don't know, like another ring around the trunk of a tree with age. There's an extra layer on their voice, or an extra 10 years on a bottle of wine. It matures to such a degree where it sounds absolutely incredible. And I couldn't get over how well she sounded and how at ease with her own voice she sounded. As if she could go into the recording studio and just one take, bang, there you go. Absolutely no effort whatsoever. This is perfect, off you go home. Really has grown into that voice, and I love it when artists reach that point. It must be, if you are an artist and you find your voice and you are so at ease with it, it must be so liberating, whether you're a singer, a writer, a poet, a stand-up comedian, a script writer, anything like that. Once you find your voice, or even if you're an instrumentalist, a guitarist who's comfortable with what they do, once you reach that stage where you are absolutely at ease with who you are, and what you do, it must be so liberating. There's no effort involved. You know you can just bang, there you go. Here is my voice, my authentic voice. Now then, Mankman, how you doing, lad? How's things? Alright, Asher. Just been putting all my records in alphabetical order. Sorted, mate. This time, Mark Lanegan from Screaming Trees and Mark Lanegan fame. I remember Screaming Trees when they came out. They were around the same time as, it was the grunge explosion of Seattle. They never got the same kind of credit as, say, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. But they were an important band, I thought, at that time. In fact, I think they were slightly mocked. You're nowhere near as good as Nirvana. Well, not many were, to be honest with you. But I liked them. I've got the album Sweet Oblivion. I've still got it on cassette in the house. Good album, that. Give it a listen. But even back then, he must have been early 20s, mid-20s. His voice sounded older than he did. So there's that gruffness to it, that grunginess, literally grunginess to his voice, which I thought was really good. And he's another one that, with age, has really grown into his voice. It's matured, it's mellowed, it's become something else. And he's also similar to what I was talking about with Ben Otwell, with the beer-soaked carpet kind of voice. That's what he's got. And funny enough, I was watching a Peter McKinnon video the other day. He's a famous YouTuber and photographer. He did a video of a photo shoot with Kiefer Sutherland. And The people who arranged it was a whiskey company, and they sent him a bottle of whiskey as a thank you, this really expensive bottle of whiskey. So he did a video shoot about a photo shoot of the bottle of whiskey, and he was going to send it back to them as a thank you for the thank you. I know it goes round in circles, all this, doesn't it? But as he was doing the video shoot and showing you how he got his pictures of this bottle of whiskey, as I was looking at it, I thought, that reminds me of Mark Lanegan's voice. They were out in wherever it was, up in the mountains somewhere, so it was snow everywhere, all wearing cowboy hats. This bottle of whiskey was backlit, so it was this golden glow, and it looked amazing. So that's exactly how his voice sounds to me. He has the sound of a glowing bottle of whiskey. And while we're here, nobody in the world likes whiskey. I'm just going to say it now. They pretend to because the dad or the granddad liked it, who in turn pretended to because their dad or granddad liked it. At some point, the PlayStation generation is just going to say, no, this tastes like burnt tyres, I want a vodka Red Bull, and it'll be over and done with the whiskey. Just putting it out there. But that's what he sounds like. The glow from a bottle of whiskey, a beer-soaked carpet. That's wisdom. The wisdom of the ages is within his voice. The song is 100 Days from the album Bubblegum. Sounds absolutely incredible. And I saw Josh Homme and from Queens of the Stone Age and Dave Garn from Depeche Mode doing a cover version of it recently at a Mark Lanegan tribute night. Sounded great, but not as good as the great man himself. Unfortunately, no longer with us. Mark Lanegan, 100 Days. Listen to it, man. You can hear everything, every bit of experience in his life dripping from his voice. It's amazing. That voice, man, that voice. Up next is Elizabeth Fraser from the Cocteau Twins. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, I don't know her. You will do. She did the lead vocals on Teardrop by Massive Attack, and you're probably thinking, I don't know that either. You will do. It's been used in films, TV shows, adverts. One of those songs that as soon as it starts, you will know it. And she has such a fantastic voice, such a clear sing-song voice, which I know sounds stupid calling it a sing-song voice, but it is. And in her early days, especially with the Cocteau Twins, you couldn't really understand what she was singing because she would sing some English words, some, I think, made-up words, and then just some noises, whatever sounded best going over the music. So it's difficult, you can't really make out lyrics apart from the occasional one. But to me, that made it even better. That sort of means that anybody who's listening can sort of decide for themselves what is being sung and what it's about. Absolutely fantastic. As she's got older, it's a bit more understandable. I think she's calmed down on doing that. But there's two songs I want you to listen to. One is by the Cocteau Twins and it's called Pitch the Baby. Pitch the Baby. And that is from the album Heaven or Las Vegas, which I love that album. And the other one is called Golden Air from Sun's Signature. I think that's the right one, right way around there. That's her latest band. Again, just beautiful music, fantastic, beautiful voice. The Cocteau Twins are my most listened to act of 2024 according to Spotify, and 4 of the top 5 songs are all by them. So just shows it. Whenever I go to Everton, I will put on the Spotify Cocteau Twins playlist, and I'll just listen to that all the way down there and back, and it gets me in the mood. It gets me chilled on the way there, chilled on the way back. It's fantastic stuff. Go and give it a listen. Up next, Marvin Gaye. I don't think there's much to be said about Marvin Gaye. One of those all-time classic voices from the early days of Motown, with all that fantastic pop music in the charts every 5 minutes, whether it's his solo stuff, duets, just amazing voice. But the thing that stood out for me was, is this 1970 when he released What's Going On, which seemed to be a complete change from the sort of happy, smiley, boy next door kind of image to suddenly being this exceptionally politically savvy social commentator. Absolutely incredible. What an album that is. His voice has never sounded better than on that. Because you can tell when he's singing there's a sort of a knowledge that he's right, that what he's talking about he's 100% correct. And every song on the album is fantastic, to be honest with you. Literally every song. But the one that I think you should listen to is In the City Blues. Makes me want to holler. Suddenly telling proper stories about what's going on. Not just about love, but about injustice. And singing it with a heartfelt manner, if you wish. I think he's going to be one of those artists that will be remembered forever. Not just forgotten in 20 or 30, 40 years. Absolutely incredible artist. 26B, bit of Marvin. If you haven't heard him, why not? What's wrong with you? I think in years to come, it'll either be through people listening to the parents and grandparents' record collections, or even Spotify, Discover Weekly. His work will still be here. An absolutely incredible artist. Go and check it out. Oh man. I've just opened my boot and a load of snow fell in. So everything in there is going to be absolutely soaking wet now. Well done Ashcroft, you absolute halfwit. Every village has got one. In my village it's me. So there you go. There's my 5 things that mean something to me and the reasons why. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like that 5, why not check out these next? Or even these?